fact that this year's Valedictorian is much accomplished is unsurprising. It's not news. But the list of stuff that David Lynch has tackled and completed and been awarded and achieved, this list is various and unique. He was a 9th grade winner of the top distributor of the Clio Cup, harbinger of his outstanding academic record in all the upper school. He's been an active member over the high school years in youth and government, chamber singers, and global unity. He's a veteran actor and dancer with the Charleston Stage Company, performing in productions of Gershwin and Folly and Young Frankenstein. David was a Drama Fest winner and a regular participant at the prestigious Stage Door Manor Performing Arts Center in New York City, and is one of the only students in Porter-Gaud history to have written and produced his own play here on campus. And then he left us, bravely deciding in the spring of his junior year to spend a semester at the esteemed School of Ethics and Global Leadership in Washington, D.C. The months there were as challenging in all the fantastic ways school should be. Meetings with presidential speechwriters, evenings at foreign embassies, face-to-face time with assistant U.S. district attorneys, the French ambassador, with even a Supreme Court justice. Given the excitement of such a term, it prompted me later on when he returned to campus that summer to ask if he missed being there, to ask if, given a chance hypothetically, if he would return to that school instead of ours for a second semester. And he gave a pithy answer. No, David reflected, because you go there to leave. Pithy, I thought, but did he mean that? I mean, one would say you go and you leave, or you go and then later you leave, but to go there to leave. But as I learned from David in that conversation that followed, he meant it as he said it, which is a signature trait of David Lynch. It is perhaps the way many of his classmates feel it today, here and now, that going to a definitive place, like a true school, can mean your presence there becomes more than preparation for elsewhere, in that your attendance throughout that stay, in a way, can preserve your attentions as much as your skills, and can sharpen your will to do what's next. Which I hope is also the way one might introduce a valedictorian, a student who, on behalf of many others, bids farewell to the place they've gone to, so they may leave, so that they may leave well, as Father Brian McGreevy said, not off to bigger and better things, as some might say, but to make the things they encounter bigger and better by being part of them. Please welcome graduating senior David Lynch.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend to the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. But pardon it, gentle all, the flat, unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France, or may we cram within this wooden the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? But suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies. Think, when we talk of horses, that you see them printing their proud hoofs in the receding earth. Admit me, chorus, to this history, who prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge, our play. Shakespeare opens Henry V with these very lines. Now, I'm sure the last thing everyone on this stage, and probably all of you, mind one Aaron Lehman, want to hear some Shakespeare, but hear me out. I'm going to make a very inspirational point, make all of your moms proud. It's going to be great. What Shakespeare essentially says at the beginning of Henry V is as follows. Everything you're about to see on this stage is fake. All of the fights, the triumphs, the losses, all of it, it's all performed by actors pretending to be kings, holding phony swords and feigning their own deaths. If you want the performance to be good, he says, you must use your imagination to pretend that what you are seeing is legitimate. Now that's super weird, right? Like when I saw Captain America 2 weeks ago, which was, mind you, very good, the movie didn't open with, hey, superheroes aren't real, enjoy the movie. No, that's not what happens. So the fact that Shakespeare starts one of his plays doing just that is unique. He says the stage itself is not real unless you forego reality and believe that it is. High school is the same way. At Porter-Gaud, we are put into roughly 50 acres with 90 or so other kids and simply told to go. But looking back on these years, all of it was merely pretend. We were all actors on a stage in an extremely boring production entitled The Class of 2016. The fights we had, the loves we found, or failed to find, John. The tests we passed or didn't, all of them were just moments in this play where we could choose to believe them or look forward and say, this won't matter for X years from now. But guess what? Now's now. You might have already gathered this, but we're graduating. Long days filled with tests, games, practices, rehearsals simply become a second of a memory within our heads. And soon all of high school will become a fraction of your life. These past 4 years, whether they were good, bad, important, unimportant, they all depended on whether you believed in high school, whether you believed that this stage wasn't so much of a stage, but reality. I'm honored to speak today before my fellow graduates, family, faculty, friends, and other people who may or may not be getting me expensive gifts. I'm not here today to be the next greedy card at Hallmark. No, high school is not like a basketball game. High school is not like a Rubik's Cube. High school is none. High school is just 4 long years trying to get by and enjoy yourself as much as you can by A, not getting in trouble, and B, talking to your parents as little as possible. I'm also not going to say something like, I'm so honored to stand before a group of future neurosurgeons, engineers, attorneys. No, don't get your hopes up. We're all going to be broke college kids for the next 4 years, so we may as well start lowering our expectations now. I'm not going to look back through our time at Porter-Gaud and recount the infinite memories we made, but rather look forward to the future. Look forward to our next steps in life away from the comforts of pre-wrapped peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and 1,776 pound to moments of confusion, doubt, and uncertainty. That said, the class sitting behind me is, objectively speaking, of course, the best class in Porter-Gaud history, or at least top 10, and I would be remiss in not discussing some of our feats. In this class, we have 14 athletes recruited for and playing sports in college, including everything from cheerleading to rugby, swimming to football. This past year, we have won 10 state championships, setting an unprecedented record at PG. We have several students recruited for theater, vocal, and visual arts in college. We have some of the state's top-notch ethical hackers, well, top-notch hackers at the least, sitting on this stage. And we got 2 field trips banned in lower schools. Sorry, Riverbank soon, Green River Preserve. And we are the second class in Porter-Gaud history to have graduation in the gym. It's pretty impressive. Now I could go on for days about the awesome accomplishments of this class, spitting out numbers in future colleges to impress you and the board of trustees, but all of that is merely show. Some of the statistics, the future schools, the trophies, something they don't tell you is who this class really is. We are mathletes. We are artists. We are football players. But most of all, we are friends. Throughout the course of this past year, we have taken a divided class and united it into a lovable, somewhat dangerous family. For instance, if you had told me a year ago that I would spend my spring break fishing in Florida with 5 other guys, I would have laughed in your face. I hated fishing a year ago, and now I hate it even more. But the point remains, on that boat to my right was a SCISA all-star soccer player, and to my left was one of the top attorneys at the Youth and Government Conference, and both of them are now some of my closest friends, despite our varying interests. That's what senior year has done to us. We began rather split, unsure about the year's journey ahead of us, and we leave now unified, traveling to our various corners of the country, remembering our time here at Porter-Gaud not by our GPA or the awards we received, but by the friends we made and the relationships we formed. Such a community is fostered at Porter-Gaud, and I root it to one cause, the faculty. The faculty at Porter-Gaud is, without question, the best group of educators in the entire city, if not the region or the state. The impact they have had on me and everyone else here is too incredible to put into words, so I summarize it with 2. Thank you. Thank you for standing by our side in both our best and worst times. Thank you for passing up another job, maybe a little more profitable, to simply have taken part in our life's journey and inspiring us. But most of all, thank you for believing in us. Each faculty member has played such a unique role in my life, and I acknowledge all of them for their impact on me. One in particular, though, has truly changed me as a person and motivated me to seek the brightness in life, even when it is dark. In 2014, before the Sunday performance of the fall play, I wasn't feeling too well. I mustered up the stamina, though, to drive to school. I couldn't miss the performance. When I arrived, I told our director, Miss Ashley Stock, how I was feeling, and she did the following. 1, she moved a couch from her old office into the lobby of the Fine Arts Building for me to sleep on before the show. 2, she made me chicken noodle soup by using leftover ingredients in the cafeteria. 3, she drove to a local Rite Aid to pick me up some medicine in an attempt to relieve my sickness as quickly as possible. And lastly, she offered to sing me a lullaby to put me to sleep. I didn't take this last offer though. She's great at singing. All of this before a fall play that, with her non-stop encouragement and advising, I helped write. an accomplishment only possible with Miss Stock's faith in me. Miss Stock has become more than a teacher to me. She has become a second mom and, above all else, a friend. She has taught me that despite the hardest and most painful struggles in life, there are always moments of happiness to find. And I'll especially miss her next year. Now, such an anecdote speaks not only to Miss Stock's generous care for me, but it speaks to each faculty member's care for their students at Porter-Gaud. They truly will go the extra mile to ensure that each student's experience is as rewarding and intellectually fruitful as possible. So, on behalf of the class of 2016, I extend my utmost gratitude for your time and patience with our class. We are eternally grateful to the faculty, and to the administration, we are eternally sorry for having to deal with us. Now it's time for the sappy inspirational stuff. Parents, grab your tissues, kids, get your snap stories ready. Well, class of 2016, we made it. Whether getting here was a stroll in the park with your biggest concern being what lunch was on a given day, or if you spent hours on end studying each night and even cried before the AP World History exam in 10th grade, regardless, you're here. So take a moment and look around. Look at the person next to you. Spot your friends in the row behind you. Wake up, animal, and take in this moment. Seriously, take in this moment, because it will never happen again. 3 months from now, the person next to you, all of your friends, your peers, will be sprawled across the country, and you'll see them twice a year, maybe 3 times if you're lucky. So all you have is this moment. This one final chance to take in the smell of the green, or sweaty middle school adolescence, a hug from your favorite faculty member, a smile from the maintenance staff member who every morning made sure that Porter-Gaud was the best place it could be for you. You have this moment to do that. And that's all, because tomorrow it'll be gone. You can't relive it. You get one shot and one shot only to take it in. So don't take it for granted. Don't take any moment in life for granted. After all life is a series of moments. Moments that we can choose to appreciate or choose to ignore. And every ignored moment is a wasted moment. So I challenge you to do this. Make every moment in your life worthwhile. Take challenging classes while you're at school. Talk to the cute girls sitting next to you in biology. Go out the night when you are feeling that the world just hates you. Surround yourself with people who are more excited for your birthday than you. Take risks. Be spontaneous and weird. As EMAC843 once said, the world is yours. And while I may not be a critically acclaimed SoundCloud renowned rapper, I couldn't agree more. The world is yours. And whether or not you take it is completely up to you. You can choose to sit idly by and pursue a career that makes money but you don't necessarily love. You can eat at the same restaurants each week, order the same dish, and enjoy it just as much as last week. You can read a book or rewatch a TV show that you already know the ending to, all whilst waking up each morning to a world that you live in, but is not yours. Or you can see the rest of your life as an opportunity to do something, make each moment worthwhile, and have your story remembered, told amongst your children, your children's children, for generations and generations to come. So, while Shakespeare begins Henry V arguing that the stage isn't real unless you believe it is, the same concept applies to life as a whole. Life itself, like high school, is hollow unless you believe in it. You have to believe that you can make a real impact on the world for it to mean something. You have to look forward to the future and say not, how can I make the world better for me, but rather, how can I make the world better? If you do that, you will use life's moments to their fullest capacity. As we've learned with recent events in our Porter-Gaud community, life is precious, and there's no time to waste a moment. So don't. Make tomorrow's goals better than today's. Wake up each day excited for what may come about, and, most importantly, remember, even in your darkest moments, you, too, can find time to smile. Thank you, and congratulations to the class.